Okay, so get this.
Okay.
We're diving into a world where your phone not only, gets what you're saying,
Right.
but it can pick up on how you're saying it.
Wow.
Even crazier.
Yeah.
AI could diagnose a cold just from your cough. Sounds like sci-fi, but it's the reality of sound computing right now.
It really is. It's mind-blowing how quickly this field is growing.
I know, right?
Like just a few years ago, this stuff was purely theoretical.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you sent me a stack of articles straight from the archive.
I did.
They're dense.
A little bit, yeah.
All about sound and AI becoming besties to decode it.
Yeah.
We've got personalized speech recognition, AI composing music,
Right.
even quantum sensors for sound.
Yeah, a pretty awesome mix that really shows us where sound is heading in tech.
Absolutely. So this deep dive is like your cheat sheet to the coolest breakthroughs.
Okay.
We'll ditch the jargon and focus on those aha moments.
Love it.
Where do we even begin?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was this move towards these personalized sound experiences.
Yeah.
You know, there's this paper on Persona,
Yeah.
which is all about personalized data augmentation for speech recognition.
So like custom fit hearing aids,
Exactly.
but for our phones.
Yeah.
So instead of one generic model, it learns your unique voice.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. And it's not just a gimmick.
Right.
They actually saw a 13.9% drop in the word error rate, which is a huge jump in accuracy.
Wow.
This could mean quicker training for AI, smoother voice control, and tech that works for everyone, regardless of accent or speech patterns.
That's a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
This could be huge for making tech more inclusive.
Absolutely.
No more struggling with voice assistants because your accent is different.
Totally. And it's not stopping there.
No?
Researchers are now pushing past just understanding the words to deciphering the how of our speech.
The nuance.
The nuance.
Yeah.
You're talking about the paper Beyond Speaker Identity, Text-Guided Target Speech Extraction.
Right? That's the one.
This is where things get really wild.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Imagine being able to pick out a single voice in a noisy room, not just by their tone, but by their specific style of speaking.
Okay.
Are they excited? Hesitant?
Right.
Maybe even a little sarcastic?
That's amazing. So much of human communication is about those subtle cues.
It really is.
Yeah.
And this research introduces something called Style SE.
Okay.
Basically an AI model that uses natural language descriptions to zero in on specific speech styles within a jumble of voices. They even created a whole new data set called textural mix.
Wow.
Just for this purpose.
Okay, break it down for me. What exactly is an AI model in this context?
Sure. So think of it like a recipe.
Okay.
It has all the instructions and ingredients, in this case, algorithms and data, to perform a specific task. So StyleDC is like a recipe that teaches AI to recognize different speaking styles.
So real-world applications.
Right.
What can we do with this?
Well, think about transcribing meetings where you could not only see who said what, but also get a sense of the emotion behind their words.
That's interesting.
Or picture customer service calls where AI could analyze a caller's tone to figure out how frustrated they are. It could change how we analyze and understand human communication.
This tech could even help us read between the lines,
Absolutely.
picking up on those unspoken cues we sometimes miss.
Yeah, precisely. And speaking of reading between the lines, there's some groundbreaking work happening with AI that can diagnose health conditions just by listening.
AI detectives.
Yeah.
It sounds futuristic, like something out of a movie.
It really does, but it's becoming a reality. We have these two papers that really highlight this shift.
Okay.
The first one titled, Towards Detecting the Pathological Subharmonic Voicing with Fully Convolutional Neural Networks, dives into how AI can analyze tiny variations in our voices to detect vocal cord problems.
So they're picking up on subtle clues in how our vocal cords vibrate to identify potential issues.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And the second paper, Multimodal Marvels of Deep Learning in Medical Diagnosis, takes it a step further.
Okay.
It explores using AI to screen for diseases like COVID-19.
Oh, wow.
Just by listening to cough sounds.
Wait, seriously?
Yep.
Just a cough?
Just a cough.
That's wild.
The subharmonic voicing study had an accuracy rate of over 98% in synthetic tests, which is incredibly promising.
Wow.
And the COVID-19 study also had some impressive results.
Yeah.
One model they used, MobileNet, was particularly good at analyzing those coughs.
So, okay, for the average person,
Yeah.
what's the big deal here?
Yeah.
What does this mean for us?
Imagine earlier diagnoses, non-invasive screenings, and easier access to healthcare.
Wow.
Your smartphone could become your personal health checker.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
Especially for folks who might not have easy access to doctors or clinics.
Absolutely. And now let's switch gears to something a little more fun.
Okay.
AI composing and critiquing music.
This is where AI gets really creative.
This is where it gets fun.
You sent over papers like signs, transient, noise neural modeling of piano notes, editing music with melody and text, and fresh shape music distance. AI is not only learning to create music, but it's also starting to judge it.
That's right.
That's wild.
The first paper really delves into how AI breaks down piano sounds into their fundamental components. Signs, transients, and noise, essentially figuring out the building blocks of sound. And the editing music with melody and text paper explores how AI can use something called ControlNet to actually tweak music based on text prompts or melodic guidance.
So I could theoretically tell my AI, hey, make this song sound more upbeat.
Right.
And it could actually do it.
Yeah, it's not that far-fetched. It's still early days, but the possibilities are exciting.
Totally.
And then there's the Frichet music distance paper.
Yeah.
Which introduces a new way to measure the quality of AI-generated music. Think of it like how art critics evaluate paintings, but for music.
So we're not just letting AI create music willy-nilly, we're also giving it the tools to be discerning.
Exactly, and that's crucial.
Yeah.
Imagine personalized soundtracks for your life perfectly matched to your mood and activities.
I like that.
Or AI tools that help musicians refine their compositions and explore new creative avenues.
That's a future I'm definitely here for.
It's exciting.
But one thing that keeps popping up in these papers is this idea of multimodal AI.
Right.
It's not just about sound anymore, is it?
It's not. It's really not. We're seeing this convergence of different AI skills.
Okay.
For example, the non-autoregressive model for joint STT and TTS paper merges speech recognition and synthesis.
Okay.
Basically understanding and generating speech into a single model. And delayed diffusion looks at how to efficiently blend large language models into speech recognition.
So the lines are blurring AI that can handle speech text images all working together.
Precisely, we see this trend in other papers too. LAVCAP combines audio and visual cues for captioning using a method called optimal transport.
Wow.
AudioBERT adds audio knowledge to language models so they can understand sounds better.
It's like AI is evolving to experience the world through multiple senses, just like we do.
It really is.
And that's leading to a whole new level of understanding.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And we even have a paper on SD-Eval that introduces a benchmark data set for evaluating how well AI understands spoken dialogue.
Okay.
It goes beyond just recognizing the words, looking at the deeper meaning and context of conversations.
So we're moving away from just understanding words to understanding the nuances of human communication.
Exactly. And it's not just about what's being said, but also who's saying it.
Right.
The USD paper focuses on combining speaker extraction and diarization, basically figuring out who spoke what and when.
Right.
And then there's target speaker ASR with Whisper, which explores how to adapt a large single speaker model to recognize specific people.
So we're getting deep into the nitty-gritty of analyzing complex conversations.
We are.
And just when I thought it couldn't get any more futuristic, we have a paper that throws quantum physics into the mix.
Right.
I know.
It's called Quantum Enhanced Transformers for Robust Acoustic Scene Classification in IoT Environments. They're basically using quantum-inspired transformers to improve how AI classifies different sound scenes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Quantum? That's a whole other level of complexity.
It is.
Can you break that down for me?
Sure. So imagine sensors that can understand complex soundscapes.
Okay.
Like a busy street corner.
Right.
Identifying everything from birds singing to car horns honking.
And you're saying this is powered by quantum computing?
Not exactly quantum computing itself, but rather algorithms inspired by quantum mechanics. They're using concepts from this field to boost the performance of these AI models.
That's mind-blowing. So these quantum-enhanced sensors could revolutionize how we monitor the environment, improve industrial safety, and even create smarter homes that respond to subtle sounds.
Absolutely. The potential applications are huge. It just goes to show how sound computing is pushing the limits of what we thought was possible.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dig deeper into some of these papers.
Me too.
But we're going to have to save that for next time.
Okay.
This is a lot to unpack.
It is.
So join us for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll explore even more groundbreaking research in the world of sound computing.
Sounds good.
I'm excited.
Me too.
This is all so fascinating.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible with sound computing.
I think you're right. There's so much more to explore, like
Yeah.
the intersection of sound and emotion.
Ooh.
That's an area that's really heating up right now.
On AI that can actually, like, read our emotions?
Yeah.
Are we talking about mind-reading tech here?
Not exactly mind reading, but
Yeah.
we're seeing research into how AI can analyze not just our words,
Right.
but also those subtle vocal cues that reveal our emotional state.
Okay.
Things like happiness, sadness, anger, even boredom or frustration.
Wow. It's like giving AI emotional intelligence.
It is.
What could we even do with that kind of technology?
Well, think about virtual assistants that can sense your mood and respond accordingly. Maybe you're having a rough day and your assistant picks up on that and suggests playing some calming music,
Okay.
or maybe even offers to reschedule a meeting.
It's like having a friend who can always tell how you're really feeling,
Right.
even if you're trying to put on a brave face.
Exactly. And it goes beyond personal interactions.
Okay.
Imagine using this in marketing to gauge how people really feel about a product, not just what they say about it.
Interesting.
Or in education to see if students are engaged or bored in class.
Right.
And adapt the lesson accordingly.
That's amazing. But it also sounds a little bit scary.
It can be.
Could this technology be used to manipulate people?
That's definitely a valid concern.
Yeah.
Like any powerful tool, there's always the potential for misuse.
Right.
It's important to think about the ethical implications and make sure this technology is used responsibly.
We need to be having those conversations now
Right.
before this tech becomes mainstream.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about AI understanding sound,
Yeah.
but what about AI creating sound?
That's another area that's exploding right now.
Okay.
AI is being used to compose music, create sound effects, even design entirely new musical instruments.
So AI is basically becoming a musical Mozart.
You could say that.
Okay.
There are systems that can compose music in any style you can imagine. Classical, jazz, electronic, you name it.
Wow.
They can even create soundtracks that are perfectly tailored to a specific scene or emotion.
So theoretically, I could have an AI composer create the perfect soundtrack for my life.
Exactly. And we're also seeing AI that can create incredibly realistic or even completely otherworldly sound effects for movies, video games, and all sorts of entertainment.
This is seriously cool, but it also makes me wonder about the future of human composers and sound designers. Are they going to be replaced by robots?
That's a question a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
Some think AI will make human composers obsolete.
Right.
But I think it's more likely that AI will become a tool that humans use to enhance their creativity.
So it's more about collaboration
Exactly.
than competition.
AI can help us explore new sonic possibilities.
Right.
But ultimately, it's still humans who decide what sounds good and what resonates with us emotionally.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah,
I was starting to worry about my own job security there for a second.
I understand.
But this whole conversation reminds me of something else that's relevant to what we do.
What's that?
Audio editing.
You're thinking about those AI tools that can clean up audio and make everyone sound like a professional podcaster.
Sign me up for that.
Well, we're not quite there yet, but
Okay.
there are AI systems that are getting pretty good at things like noise reduction,
Okay.
audio restoration, and even voice cloning.
Wait, voice cloning?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of creepy?
It can be, but it also has some really cool applications.
Like what?
Like creating synthetic voices for people who have lost their voices due to illness or injury.
Oh, wow.
Imagine being able to communicate in your own voice, even if you're physically unable to speak.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But I can also see how that could be misused.
Right.
Like creating deepfakes or impersonating people without their consent.
You're absolutely right. Like we said before, it's all about being aware of the potential risks. And using this technology responsibly.
Yeah.
We need to be having these conversations now
Right.
to make sure these powerful tools are used for good.
This has been a wild ride so far.
It has.
From personalized sound experiences to AI composers to the ethics of voice cloning.
It's a lot.
It's clear that sound computing is touching every aspect of our lives.
It really is a transformative field.
And the most exciting part is that we're just at the beginning of this journey.
We are.
I can't wait to see what the next few years will bring.
Me too.
But before we get too caught up in the future,
Yeah.
let's take a moment to appreciate the present.
Okay.
We're living in a time where we have access to an unbelievable amount of information and entertainment through sound.
We are.
Whether it's music podcasts, audiobooks, or just the sounds of nature.
That's such a good point.
Yeah,
Sound enriches our lives in countless ways.
it does.
It's something we should never take for granted.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up part 2 of this deep dive.
Okay.
But don't worry, we're not done yet. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
We've covered personalized sound AI composers, quantum sensors.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. But now it's time to crank things up to 11
Okay, I'm ready.
and explore some truly mind-bending possibilities. The stuff that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction.
I love where you're going with this.
Okay, good.
We've already seen how AI can blur the lines between real and virtual. But what if we could use sound to create entire new realities for our ears?
You're talking about those sonic illusions, right? Like tricking our brains into hearing things that aren't really there.
Exactly. Researchers are playing with techniques to create these auditory illusions. Kind of like optical illusions, but for sound.
Yeah.
Imagine walking through a forest and hearing rustling leaves. But those sounds are actually generated by an algorithm.
Yeah.
Or picture yourself at a concert where the music surrounds you from every direction, even though the speakers are only in front of you.
Whoa, that's wild. It's like virtual reality, but for our ears.
That's a great way to put it. And as we get better at manipulating sound, we'll be able to create even more immersive and realistic sonic experiences.
The potential for gaming, entertainment, and even therapy is huge. But let's bring it back to reality for a second. We talked about AI understanding complex soundscapes. But what if we use that to create augmented reality soundscapes in the real world?
Now that's a fascinating idea. Imagine walking down the street and your headphones feed you personalized audio guides, pointing out cool landmarks, giving you historical context, maybe even translating conversations happening around you in real time.
It'll be like having a personal tour guide and translator all rolled into one.
Exactly.
What about using sound to boost our productivity or creativity?
There's a lot of potential there, too. Research shows that different sounds can affect our brainwaves and impact our focus, motivation, and creativity. Imagine listening to personalized soundscapes that optimize your brain for specific tasks, or using sonic cues to learn new skills more effectively.
So sound could become a superpower for our minds.
It really could.
Speaking of superpowers, I have to ask about the potential for sound to heal and transform us.
Yeah, sound has always been recognized for its power in that realm. Think about the calming effects of nature sounds or how music can evoke strong emotions.
Absolutely.
But now we're seeing a more scientific approach to sound therapy.
Like sound healing therapy and binaural beats.
Those are definitely part of it. But researchers are also exploring cutting-edge techniques like using ultrasound to stimulate specific parts of the brain, or using sound waves to deliver medicine to targeted cells in the body.
It's like sound is becoming medicine itself.
In a way, yes. We're still just scratching the surface of sound's potential for healing.
Right.
But imagine using sound to treat conditions like anxiety, depression, chronic pain, or even neurodegenerative diseases.
This deep dive has been a wild ride. From practical applications to mind-blowing possibilities. It's clear that sound computing is already changing the world, and we're just getting started.
Absolutely. Sound is an incredibly powerful force. And as we keep uncovering its secrets with AI and other emerging tech, we can expect even more incredible innovations in the years to come.
So what's the takeaway message for our listeners? What should they be listening for in the future of sound?
I think the most important thing is to keep an open mind and an attentive ear.
Okay.
The future of sound computing is about so much more than just music or podcasts.
Right.
It's about recognizing sound's power to shape how we experience the world, influence our emotions, and even transform our health and well-being.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our sonic adventure. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of sound computing. Until next time, keep listening and keep exploring the amazing world of sound.